In the small, mist-shrouded village of Blackwood, the locals whispered of a haunting legend passed through the generations. The villagers spoke of the Vale of Ravens, an ancient, cursed grove hidden deep within the forest, where the boundary between the living and the dead was perilously thin. The brave or foolish who ventured into the Vale of Ravens never returned the same, if they returned at all. Isabella Devereaux, a young woman of 20, arrived in Blackwood one dreary autumn day. She was a historian, drawn to the village by the allure of its enigmatic past and the promise of uncovering its secrets. The villagers eyed her with a mix of curiosity and wariness, their silence heavy with unspoken warnings. Despite their reticence, Isabella was determined to delve into the mysteries that lay hidden in the heart of the forest. She rented a room at the local inn, an old, creaking structure that seemed to sag under the weight of its own history. And each night the wind howled through the narrow streets, carrying with it its mournful cries of distant creatures. The innkeeper, a grizzled man named Elias, cautioned her against exploring the forest. "Nothing good comes from the Vale of Ravens," he warned, his voice gravely with age. "The forest is a place of shadows, where the past and present intertwine. Those who enter find more than they bargain for." Well undeterred, Isabella began her research, poring over dusty tomes in the village library and speaking to those few willing to share their knowledge. She learned of an old manor, once owned by the Ravenswood family, who had mysteriously vanished over a century ago. Their disappearance was said to be linked to the Vale of Ravens, where they had dabbled in forbidden rituals, seeking immortality and power. One fog-laden morning, driven by an insatiable curiosity, is about to find the Vale of Ravens. She trekked through the dense, twisted trees, their gnarled branches clawing at the sky like skeletal fingers. The deeper she ventured, the thicker the mist, swirling around her like a shroud, and soon she found herself standing before an ancient, wrought-iron gate, half buried in the undergrowth. The gate creaked open, as if beckoning her inside. Beyond the gate, the air grew colder and the silence was absolute, save for the occasional caw of a raven. Isabella pressed on, her breath visible in the frigid air. She stumbled upon a clearing where an old crumbling mansion stood, its windows dark and vacant like hollow eyes. The Ravenswood Manor. As Isabella approached the mansion, she felt a sudden chill, and the air seemed to throb with an eerie energy. She pushed open the heavy oak door, its hinges groaning in protest, and stepped into the dimly lit hall. The interior was a tableau of decay. Cobwebs draped across the furniture, and a thick layer of dust coated every surface, yet there was a sense of expectancy, as if the house itself was holding its breath. In the center of the hall stood a grand staircase, its banister carved with intricate, twisting patterns of ravens and vines. Isabella ascended the stairs, drawn to a faint, flickering light emanating from a room at the end of the corridor. She pushed open the door and found herself in a library, the walls lined with ancient tomes bound in cracked leather. On a large wooden desk lay an open book, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and incantations. As Isabella studied this book, the temperature in the room plummeted. She felt a presence behind her. She turned to see a figure materialize from the shadows. A woman in a flowing black gown with raven black hair and eyes that gleamed with unnatural light. "I am Eliza Ravenswood," the apparition spoke, her voice a whisper of wind through the trees. "You have trespassed into my domain, seeker of truth." Well, Isabella's heart pounded, but she stood her ground. "I seek the truth of what happened here, of the curse that haunts this place." Eliza's eyes bore into hers. The truth is a double-edged sword. We sought to conquer death, to unlock the secrets of eternity, but in our hubris, we unleashed a darkness that consumed us. The Vale of Ravens is just not a place, it is a state of being, a liminal space where the souls of the damned are trapped, forever bound to their sins. And as she spoke, the room seemed to warp and twist, and Isabella felt herself being pulled into a vortex of shadows and whispers. She saw fleeting visions of the past, the Ravenswood family gathered in the library, chanting incantations, a portal opening, a wave of darkness engulfing them. The vision faded, and Isabella found herself standing alone in the clearing, the mansion, now a ruin overrun by the forest. The Vale of Ravens had shown her its truth, or merely a part of it, and she knew she could never unsee what she had witnessed. The legend of Blackwood was not just a tale to scare children, but a grim reminder of the dangers of seeking forbidden knowledge. As she made her way back to the village, the ravens watched her with knowing eyes, their caws echoing through the mist like a dirge for the damned. Isabella returned to her life, forever changed by her encounter with the Vale of Ravens. She penned her findings, but never again spoke of that fateful day. The village of Blackwood continued to whisper its warnings, and the forest kept its secrets. The Vale of Ravens, forever lurking on the edge of reality, waiting for the next soul, brave or foolish, enough to seek its dark truths.